don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing.
Have you guys heard of the poet James Weldon Johnson?
No. Wait.
There's
The
a
author?
there's a poem that he wrote that I really like called Black Mammy. Have you guys heard of it?
I heard of it, yeah, but I don't know. I don't really look into it really.
Oh, you haven't read it yet?
I haven't read it. I don't know really too many of his poems.
I
His
don't know
close
anything
friends.
about James and Weldon Johnson, to be honest.
How about you?
No, I don't know. Can you please explain?
Okay. Well, Black Mammy is this really good poem that I read like last night because it talks about black foster mothers who take care of sons that it's not theirs. It's the masters of the land. It's a really good poem. You want me to read it to you guys?
Please.
Yes, please.
Alright. So, wine head entwined in turban gay, kind black face of crude but tender hand. Foster mother in whose arms there lay the race whose sons are masters of the land. It was thine arms that sheltered in their fold. It was thine eyes that followed through the length of infant days these sons. In times of old, it was they breasts that nursed them to strength. So often hast thou to thy bosom pressed the golden head, the face of brow of snow. So often has it against thy road. Dark breast lain set off like a quickened cameo, too simple soul as cuddling down that babe. With thy sweet croon, so plaintive and so wild, came here the thought to thee, swift like a stab, that it someday might crash time on black child. So what do you guys think of the poem?
I think it's pretty good.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Sophisticated.
yeah.
I like it.
So you guys know anything about James Weldon Johnson's life and all that?
No, I don't know much about him.
Well, I knew him just a little bit because we kind of met at the university we both went to. So basically, Johnson, he was born around like 1871 around like Florida, and he was the son of Helen Louise Dillett, and then he was a native, and she basically was a native of Nassau in the Bahamas, and basically his maternal great grandmother Hester Argo, she escaped from Saint Dominique around like during the revolutionary upheaval in 1802, along with her three younger children, including James, his grandfather, and all that. And so basically, originally, his great grandfather originally headed to Cuba, but their boat was intercepted by privateers, and they were taken to Nassau, where they were permanently settled. And then around like 1833, Stephen Dillard became the first man of color to win the election in the Bahamian legislative branch along the way. And so basically James's brother, and basically James and his brother Rosamond moved to New York City when they were young men. Basically they were trying to join the great migration out around the South in the first half of the 20th century. And basically they collaborated on some songwriting and achieved some success on the Broadway in the early 1900s. And so basically over the next 4 years, Johnson served in like the public capacities, working on the education and the diplomatic corps and civil rights activism, which would basically make him a civil rights activist. And in 1904, he participated in Theodore Roosevelt's successful presidential campaign. And after Roosevelt became the president of the United States, he basically appointed Johnson as the United States' consul at Puerto Caballero in Venezuela around 1906 to 1908. And so basically he went to Nicaragua from 1909 to 1913. And in 1910, Johnson married a beautiful woman named Grace Neal, who had become a very smart woman around New York, and she was very cultured too. And so basically several years after working as a songwriter, basically she would help him with his project of screenwriting. And so basically after their return to New York and Nicaragua, Johnson became increasingly involved in the Harlem Renaissance. You guys know what the Harlem Renaissance is?
Yeah, we already know.
Oh yeah.
You guys already know, okay.
Yeah.
So basically, after like he started writing his own poetry and he supported work with others, after compiling and publishing anthologies of spiritual and poetry, owning his own influence as an innovative poetry, and became one of the leading voices of the Harlem Renaissance in 1920. And yeah, that's basically him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Characteristics and themes about the Harlem Renaissance?
Not really.
Not really.
Okay, well, let me explain to you guys what it is. So, what characterized the Harlem Renaissance was the overt racial pride and the developing idea of new black identity. And that through intellect and production of literature, art, and music could challenge the pervading racism and promote progressive politics. There was no uniting from characterizing the art that emerged. However, it encompassed a wide variety of styles, including Pan-African perspectives, high culture and low culture, traditional music to blues and jazz. Traditional and experimental forms in literature such as modernism and the new form of jazz poetry. Some common themes represented during the Harlem Renaissance were the influence of slavery, black identity, the effects of institutional racism, and the dilemmas of performing and writing for elite white audiences, and how to convey the experience of modern black life in the urban north. New authors attracted a great amount of national attention, and the Harlem Renaissance led more and more opportunities for blacks to be published by mainstream houses. Some authors who became nationally known were Jean Toomer, Jesse Fawcett, Clay McKay, Zora Neale, Hurston, James Weldon Johnson, Elaine Locke, Eric D. Warlord, and Langston Hughes.
I heard it all.
Oh
You
yeah.
guys know James Weldon Johnson Civil Rights Act?
No.
Well, I heard of it.
Wow, that's a
In 1871, June 26, 1936, was an American author of a civil rights activist. He was married to a civil rights activist, Grace Nell Johnson. Johnson was a leader of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and NAACP, where he started working in 1917 and 1920. He was the first African American to be chosen as executive secretary of the organization, effectively the operating officer. He served in that position from 1920 to 1930. Johnson established his reputation as a writer and was known during the Harlem Renaissance for his poems and novels and collection both poems and spiritual of black culture.